Hi, it's me, Tracy, your literary and tea time companion, back with you again for another reading update as we close off the month of March. I honestly don't know how these weeks have passed by so quickly and that we are at the end of another month already. I really hope that all is well with you and that you have been having a good time with your reading as well. I have a lot of books to share with you this time and a little something extra at the end of the episode. So, do you have your cup ready? Shall we dip into some fiction first? The first book of fiction I'd like to share today, and one of my favorite reads during the month of March, was The Broken Queen, The Court of the Last Dragon, first book in the series by Lidiya Foxglove. Here we meet Atora. Born from magic, Atora is exquisitely lifelike living doll. Raised in a house of concubines, soon to be sold off as some man's toy. Instead, a stranger walks in with black horns and sharp eyes radiating magic, the king of the dragons. King Horai, a man with royal dragon blood, searches for the reincarnation of the dragon queen. He knows Atora is the one he seeks, but she is not the one he wants. He considers her very existence an abomination, and she can't give him an heir. Still, there is no doubt that she holds the ancient magic that protects his kingdom and customs upheld. Atora and the cold, handsome Dragon King are married with all pomp and ceremony. She learns her magic lessons, and they are brutal, and the court is hostile. Atora relishes her freedom and growing power. She bonds with her dragon, learns to claim her place on the council like all the queens before her, and discovers an unexpected passion for her king. But something dark stirs in the mountains once more. It killed Horai's parents and their dragons long ago, and now threatens everything Atora holds dear. She alone may hold the key to saving her kingdom, but the price will change her forever. Atora is a doll. She has been created by a group of people that creates them for many purposes, and not least enslavement, as Atora has been. She works in a house of concubines, and the Dragon King comes and rescues her, but she is not so sure at first if she is actually being rescued. It is hard for her to believe that she has been reincarnated that she is a queen and can be whisked away this way, because she has been brought up to believe that she will ultimately just be bought by a man for a plaything, probably. So it's hard getting used to her new life in a new place, among new people, but slowly she comes around to the idea, and as she learns her lessons in magic, she does start becoming full into her power. As each chapter goes, we follow her, and we also follow her and Horai. Their love is a slow, sweet burn. It is really lovely. And Horai has a brother, Jarlan, who honestly he's a bit of a creep sometimes, and he's meant to be. His character is meant to cause friction pretty much with everyone he encounters, but he will play a bit of a role in this. And as we come to the last quarter of the book, there is a bit of a twist, a bit of a surprise. It really surprised me, and the author just set this up so beautifully for the next book that will be following this one, which I believe the title will be The Shattered King. I'm not sure when that will be available. Lidiya Foxglove writes wonderful fiction. She also writes what might be called cozy fiction, cozy fantasy as well. And last autumn, around Halloween time, I read her book Doll Girl Meets Dead Guy, which also features another a doll-like woman, and she encounters a he is a revived, he was a dead soldier, but he was revived by necromancy magic. It was a really, really charming story. Lots of quirky humor. She has, Lidiya Foxglove has a lovely way with just interjecting some humor into the story, especially in her cozy fantasy, that I really enjoy. The Broken Queen is quite a bit more serious, and I really just loved the story so much, and I am really looking forward to the second book. And for I spoke about this book at the top of the month, the Crimson Moth by Kristen Ciccarelli, and it was an enemies to lover romance. I feature that in my what's in my book bag video at the top of March, and I thought I would just come back to this and just to mention that I finished that, and it was an okay read for me. It follows the life of a young woman who, I can read you the blurb. On the night Runa's life changed forever, blood ran in the streets. Now in the aftermath of a devastating revolution, witches have been diminished from power, rulers to outcast, ruthlessly hunted due to their waning magic. And Runa must hide what she is. And she encounters a handsome Gideon Sharp. He is a notorious, unforgiving witch hunter and is loyal to the revolution. She can't stop herself falling for him, though. And it follows what happens, and she's just on the run, isn't she? Because she's a witch, and she does have friends. One of them is actually Gideon's brother, and who would probably love to have a romance with her. And there's intrigue. This is a YA fantasy romance, and it has all of the YA tropes. I had some moments though where I was wondering, am I getting too old for some of these books? And it was a humorous moment, but it was also, I was just reflecting on very quickly on the fact that no, it has nothing to do really with age, but it does have to do with possibly a level with maturity that does come with age, with years, that one discernment with maturity, where one decides what a relationship looks like, how you want to be treated by other people, and how you treat other people as well. And I find that some of the YA, the young adult romances, fantasy romantasy, contains a lot of and I understand the purpose of it, but there's a lot of friction between the romantic interests, but I find some of the way they communicate with each other, it's just, it kind of rubs me the wrong way sometimes, and I end up finding it not very romantic at all. This was just okay for me. I'm not sure if I will pick up the follow-up to this story, Rebel Witch. Possibly. Our local library does not have it. It's in the library system, but it's not available for interloan yet. So it's one of those ones I'm a little bit on the fence about. Possibly if I have a little bit of a lull between reading, possibly I will pick that up again. But we'll see about that one. I'm just not sure. And another book that I read in March, or rather I should say I attempted to read, was the Empire of Silence by Christopher Ruocchio. And I say attempted because I had to give it up about a third of a way in, because the print, the font was it was so small, and it was rather faint, sort of a grayish color. I was having such a hard time reading this physical book because of the print of the font, and I eventually I had to I had to give that one up. So I I am on a waiting list for receiving a digital edition through the Libby app, and I have quite a while to wait for it. Though this is quite a popular series, it's many books, so I will have to see about revisiting this one at a later date. It reminded me a little bit of Pierce Brown's Red Rising. Let me give you a little synopsis of Empire of Silence. Hadrian Marlowe, a man revered as a hero and despised as a murderer, chronicles his tale in the galaxy-spanning debut of the Sun Eater series, merging best of space opera and epic fantasy. This is not his war. The galaxy remembers him as a hero, a man who burned every last alien Sicilian from the sky. They remember him as a monster, the devil who destroyed a sun, casually annihilating 4 billion human lives, even the emperor himself, against imperial orders. But Hadrian was not a hero. He was not a monster. He was not even a soldier. On the wrong planet, at the right time, for the best reasons, Hadrian Marlowe starts down a path that can only end in fire. He flees his father and a future as a torturer, only to be left stranded on a strange backwater world. Forced to fight as a gladiator and navigate the intrigues of a foreign planetary court, Hadrian must fight a war he did not start, for an empire he does not love, against an enemy he will never understand. That sounds really great, and it is very interesting. It has a dystopian feeling that was reminding me a lot of Pierce Brown's Red Rising series, and I would really like to revisit this again. I would say that fantasy, in its many forms, is probably my first pick. Sci-fi, possibly a little less, and I noticed lately I'm having a little harder time with it, possibly because of sometimes the very dystopian themes in some of the sci-fi fantasy lately, because I feel like, well, we're living in a time that feels a bit dystopian, and sometimes some of the themes just are rubbing a little bit too hard on the heart these days. But I would like to try to revisit the Empire of Silence when I can. And for some extra fiction, I also have Kvinne, sett fra ryggen by the Danish writer Jesper Wung-Sung. And the cover and the title reflect a painting by the Danish artist Vilhelm Hammershøi, a woman seen, interior of a woman seen from the back. And it is concerning partially the artist Vilhelm Hammershøi, but mainly his wife, Ida Ilsted, who we see on the cover. This is a fictionalized biography of a sort about Ida and Wilhelm. And this story opens in 1890 when Ida meets the painter Vilhelm Hammershøi. And everyone is a bit puzzled when he proposes marriage to her after a brief meeting during the summertime. And everyone is wondering, why Ida? They don't understand what he sees in her as a person, even her beauty. This is a wonderful portrait of a marriage, of relationships, of people, and not least what it is for a woman to have attached herself to a man who is considered a genius, brilliant beyond the stars, and how she comes into relationship with his family, his very rather brusque family, and they are not overwhelmingly accepting of her in the beginning, which also creates a strain on their relationship. She is also trying to find herself in the world and not least within this relationship. And because she is often the model for her painter husband, she is often preoccupied with, how am I using my time? The concept of productivity is really interesting because that is a topic that is very common for us now, but we don't think of it necessarily so much as maybe something of the past. And she has been taught to, well, the woman of the house, she takes care of the home, the husband, possibly children, some of those concepts. And oftentimes she is just seen standing still for her husband while he paints her, often from behind. And what is the value of this time? What is she contributing? She has a lot of questions about what is she doing and why. And Wilhelm Halmershøi often painted, especially interior views that sometimes are often seen as melancholy or very subdued. I personally find them quite mesmerizing in the simplicity, in the quietness, in the stillness. I think it's inviting us into that exact moment and just sharing it in a very beautiful and quiet way. This is a moment from Ida's day. It looks like she's carrying a tray into the dining room, and that might be what she does every day, but it's that moment in time captured. I find Wilhelm Halmershøi, all of his works, just very inviting and enchanting, and I think that they speak so much in a way that seems like there's not a lot going on, and usually it's sort of still the phrase "still waters run deep." I find that very inviting. TJ and we were in Denmark many years ago and had the very great joy of seeing an exhibit of Wilhelm Halmershøi's many works. It was a moment I will not forget. And this book is quite unforgettable in a portrait of a marriage and a woman finding herself, which is a timeless theme, isn't it? Segueing now from fiction into some nonfiction, I will first share another very exceptional read from the month of March. The Library, A Fragile History by Andrew Pettegree and Arthur Davidin. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. I think it's Dutch. And this was, oh wow, if you love libraries like I do, you will enjoy this book very much. This is an exploration of how libraries, past and present, had to face incredible challenges, and how a library lasts as long as people find them useful and the contents of them. And this traces through history, beginning from papyrus scrolls and the Library of Alexandria in ancient times, attempting to collect the sum of human knowledge, and down through the ages through illuminated manuscripts and university libraries through the Middle Ages, and the struggle of libraries, even from ancient times up until now. And it is a wonder how the houses of stored knowledge have risen from ashes and ruin and human incompetence, and how fire, war, social and political upheaval changed how knowledge was not only written down, but how it was stored as well. And I just feel that this was just such an incredible exploration of stored knowledge, and it brings us up to the current times where even still, sometimes fire is a problem for libraries, storage, and not least, and especially in current times, lack of funding is a big problem for libraries. Places also needing to come up to current times with services and technology and all of the challenges that those bring. And, a library is sort of, it's a bit like a playlist on repeat, isn't it? Sort of, we create them, and there's a period of use, and then disposal or dispersing, and then there's a reconstruction, a constant curation of materials, and then we're back to disposal and dispersing and repeat and repeat. And this was just such a unique work about books within time, and I loved this so much. This is one read that I have greatly enjoyed, and more on a topic that I hope to continue throughout the year, with the theme of knowledge and how we keep it, how we store it. And I was waiting for this one to read, and I'm so glad that I was able to enjoy this now. And I will continue with this theme of stored knowledge, of shared knowledge as we go. And I also in nonfiction, I thought I would just return momentarily to Mary Oliver's Upstream selected essays that I also began at the beginning of March, and I did finish that, and I greatly enjoyed that. I always enjoy Mary Oliver. This particular collection was, I can now call it a favorite. Some of the essays I did encounter in the collection Winter Hours. I certainly didn't mind revisiting them. The first half of the book was new material, new to me, and I just greatly enjoyed some of the essays combine her looking back in time in her younger years and up through to current times before she passed away. And it was just a really wonderful collection. So I can highly recommend that to any Mary Oliver fans or anyone who enjoys essays. It's a really beautiful collection. And I did just recently give a little update on some reading with my Regency reading project in connection with the Jane Austen anniversary year. I had the great pleasure of looking at the William Blake's complete illuminated books. It was such a joy to look at that, and the complete poetry and prose. I didn't get to finish actually reading that one. It had to be returned to the library, and I could not renew that one. I hope to maybe revisit that one again if I can. And I realized that some of the Regency reading is maybe not to everyone's taste. I noticed that there was not too much, didn't seem to be too much interest in that. So I may be thinking of how I'm sharing some of that in future episodes, but I will certainly continue to be sharing the Jane Austen and Jane Austen related reading with you. And coming up in March, I will be, in April, I will be reading Pride and Prejudice. That will be my primary read and Regency reading for the month of April. And I hope that maybe you will join me in reading Pride and Prejudice. A little tea break. Shall we have a tea break now? In my cup today, I have just English breakfast tea, just a plain favorite. Nothing lifts an afternoon like a little dose of English breakfast tea. And I have it in a favorite mug today. This is an older design from Withered of Chelsea. Just a beautiful blue floral, almost a Wedgwood blue type of floral. This is a little treasure of mine from a visit to the UK, a weekend in London that TJ and I, this was many years ago now, but they no longer have this design. Unfortunately, Withered of Chelsea has changed some of the china, and I I brought this back in my handbag, wrapped very well in some tops, and we travel very light. So this is a favorite. This is a favorite, and just some English breakfast today. What's in your cup today? I would love to know. A little bit of poetry today, just one book of poetry. I have Emma Lazarus, selected poems by the editor John Hollander, and this is the American Poets Project through the Library of America Publishing. And I have come to really love Emma Lazarus, and I encountered her through Poem a Day, through poets.org, which I receive a daily poem in my email inbox every day. And during the weekdays, there is often contemporary poets featured, but on the weekends, they tend to feature poets and poetry from times past. And this is how I came to know Emma Lazarus some time ago. Emma Lazarus was an American poet, a writer of prose as well, and a translator. She was of Jewish heritage and was the first Jewish person to be recognized for her contribution to American poetry. Her sonnet, The New Colossus, was quite important at the time, as it was written to raise funds for the pedestal for the Statue of Liberty to rest upon. The new Colossus, the Statue of Liberty, sort of representing the embodiment of feminine, of female strength, which is quite beautiful. Emma Lazarus, she sadly had a very short life. She was born in 1849 in New York City, and passed away at 37 years of age in 1887. She wrote many poems. She was very proficient, and she wrote beautiful lyrical poetry. And she some of the poetry has such a beautiful musical quality, and explores inner landscapes, and often using musical themes as a basis for her poetry. Think of very, very beautiful lilting music, like from Robert Schumann, for example, which was music of her early younger life. And I thought that maybe I would just read one to you from this beautiful, lovely little collection. It's simply entitled Song. Frosty lies the winter landscape in the twilight golden green. Down the park's deserted alleys, naked elms stand stark and lean. Dumb the murmur of the fountain, birds have flown from lawn and hill. But while yonder stars ascendant, love triumphal, strength still. Seen the keen flame throb and tremble, brightening in the darkening night, breathing like a thing of passion, in the skies smooth, chrysolite. Not beneath the moon, O lover, thou shalt gain thy heart's desire. Speak tonight, the gods are with thee, burning with a kindred fire. Isn't that beautiful? This was such a lovely, lovely collection, and I look forward to exploring more of the poetry of Emma Lazarus, and I'm very glad to share this with you as well. And now for some fun reading, manga and illustrated stories. During March, I read Monstress, Volume 3, The Haven, written by Marjorie with artwork by illustrator Sana Takeda. And I was really glad to finally read Volume 3. I've been slowly working through this series since December. My local library doesn't have this series, so I have to order it through the interloan system, and I just have to wait sometimes. In this Volume 3, Maika Halfwolf And humans and hybrid organics are at war again, but battles of the heart and soul are the most dangerous of all. Caught in the calculating grip of the Dusk Court, Maika and Zin uncover painful secrets of the past while Tuya fights to preserve her future. The young fox child, Kippa, represents the only hope for the present. And it is just so interesting, this story, as Maika deals with this monster that lives inside of her, and how it controls her and how she can maybe control it a little bit. It's still a bit of a mystery, and this is still unfolding, and she's still trying to find out how this came to be and what is this. And alongside her companions that are with her on this journey, they have arrived to an island that claims neutrality, but there's a lot going on under the surface, and enemies seem to be popping up from all corners. There are people and entities that will see her dead or will take the monster from her, and it's a very complex story. So if you are interested in it, you will receive very much more than what I'm telling you by reading it for yourself. And this particular volume was a little bit heart-wrenching, because I love the fox child Kippa, and sadly she was abducted near the end of the story this time, and I'm just hoping that she is okay and that she will be recovered. So very soon I will be ordering volume 4 so I can find out more of this story. And also during March, I gobbled up 3 volumes of Spy Family, volume 5, 6, and 7. From the story and the art is by Japanese writer and artist Tatsuya Endo. And in volume 6, Master Spy had a new colleague, and she came on the scene ready to bust up his fake marriage and fake family, and we're still waiting to see what some of that is going to end up being. And I have never been so invested in a fake family before, but I'm just loving what's happening with Master Spy Twilight and his fake wife Yor and their fake daughter Anya, and now family dog Bond. And in volume 7, we have Master Spy. He's getting straight to his target, as Donovan Desmond is about to share a rare family moment with his son Damien. Twilight outs in a meet to face with his target for the first time. Can Twilight find some way to endear himself to the inscrutable Donovan? And daughter Anya has been trying to, in very clumsy ways, seek friendship with the target's son, Damien, with very clumsy levels of success. And each volume just becomes more bonkers by the addition, and I am just loving this series of books so much. And I know that there is a television series, Spy Family. I have not watched it yet. I am waiting to read all of the volumes first. If there is media, if there is a book first, and that has inspired a movie, TV, I prefer to read the books first. And that's what's happening here with this, and I can't wait to order volume 8, because my local library only has oddly up until volume 7, so this is the last through my local library, so I must order the next one, volume 8. And this month I have also begun the Apothecary Diaries, the story by Natsu Hyuga, the art by Nikakuga. I'm sorry, I'm not very. I need to learn Japanese, and the character designs Tokushino. This is just so delightful. And again, a series with many volumes, and I'm just beginning. This is volume 1. Mao Mao, a young woman trained in the art of herbal medicine, is forced to work as a lowly servant in the inner palace. Though she yearns for a life outside its perfumed halls, she isn't long for a life of drudgery. Using her wits to break a curse afflicting the imperial heirs, Mao Mao attracts the attentions of the beautiful Jinshi and is promoted to attendant food taster. But Jinshi has other plans for the erstwhile apothecary, and soon Mao Mao is back to brewing potions and solving mysteries. I love Mao Mao. She is just, and the art is just so sweet. It's just so charming. I am loving this story so much, and I'm really looking forward to picking up volume 2 through library interloan. It's just a really wonderful story. As you've maybe been noticing as the weeks go by, I've just been really enjoying manga a lot. In the evenings, I'm finding it just very enjoyable reading. At the end of the day, just some fun stories, some fun adventures. Many of the stories are quite complex, actually, but they're just also a lot of fun, and I'm just really enjoying them. And it's great to have another manga series to dip into. As I'm recording of this very day, we welcome a new season, springtime. If you are in the southern hemisphere, you are welcoming autumn. And there's always a bit of a transition, isn't there, when we ease into a new season? And ease is the word. I think we need to be gentle with ourselves when we enter a new season. I find myself now, I love winter so much that when we segue into spring, I do find it a bit of an adjustment. I know that the days ahead will be lovely, and I do look forward to them, but I will miss the lovely cocoon time that winter offers. I find it an incredibly rich time from a creative aspect. I find that winter offers a great time for the things that I do, writing, photography. My knitwear designs, they come more into being during the winter months, and springtime will have me needing to be using my mind and my energy in a different way. And this morning, I wrote a silly little poem to welcome the season, to recognize the season. So this is my own little poem. Sunrise through the mist, morning breaking. Free from a winter coat, I go out without a scarf and feel naked. The warming sun, like a kiss on the neck that I didn't expect. With such a hint as this, I don't mind being beguiled into a new season. This finishes up a poetry project that I have been working on since winter solstice. I like doing seasonal projects, and this was the last poem for this notebook, Winter, a devotional, just something I've been writing in. And it is my hope to be able to put together a collection of poetry to offer by the end of the year. And that is a big project that I'm working on. And I also wanted to let you know that by the end of the week, I hope to have another video for you. And this will be notes from March. I know not everyone cares for those videos. I know that my book friends here love the book videos the most, probably, but I do enjoy putting together the end of month diary style, note style videos. So there will be notes from March coming out very soon for you. And in part of that, I will be sharing a little bit about a weekend trip that my husband TJ and I enjoyed in the city of Oslo to celebrate our anniversary. So I will have some city fun and also some book adventures in the city with you in that video. And I really hope that you have enjoyed this longer video today, catching you up with the reading this month. It's been another great month of reading. And please let me know what you have been reading as well. Let me know some of the highlights for you. What was your favorite read this month? And going into April, what are you looking forward to reading soon? And so until next time, I wish you happy reading, and as always, many blessings.